All right, Isaac Gloria. I'll be speaking with Deacon Andrew from St. Anne's Parish Catholic Church. All right, we'll jump right in. All right, Deacon Andrew, how long have you been a deacon?
11 years.
11 years. And what is the process of becoming a deacon?
The process for becoming a deacon is about 5 years long. It begins with the man inquiring to the diocese about entering into formation to become a deacon. The first year is considered an inquiry year where you prepare yourself by becoming familiar with what the responsibilities of a deacon are, what the relationship a deacon is with the church, and a process of evaluation to discern particular qualities or characteristics in the man as being suited for moving forward into a more formal aspect of the formation. The second year is what we call aspirancy year. In that year, the man continues his formation. He aspires to become a candidate for holy orders. That year also continues to provide for him formative education and training, leaning toward the direction of the diaconate. It also is a process of discernment, helping him strengthen his prayer life, helping him strengthen his marriage or his family life if the man is married and has children, whether they be adults or young children. It is also continued that there be scrutiny. They consider the man, as far as where he is in his state of life, as being suitable for candidacy to holy orders. At the end of that year, the man is reviewed with his wife, or individually if he's not married, to be considered for formal admittance into candidacy. Well, once the man is admitted into candidacy, he is formally accepted and recognized by Holy Mother Church as being a man with what we'll say is an authentic call to the vocation. However, this doesn't mean that he is guaranteed ordination. It means that he will move into a more rigorous period of time of formation where he'll focus on deeper knowledge of the faith, what the faith teaches, our doctrines, our dogmas, our theology, our catechetics, all of those matters, while he also continues to shape his prayer life and the intimate relationship he has with God, and also the relationships he has with his wife if he's married, and his children if he has children. He also looks at the relationship he has with the church, the community he serves in. So through this first year of candidacy, there's this very significant milestone of the church embracing this man formally and accepting him into formation, and the intensity of that formation increases. After this candidacy year, he moves into another year we refer to as commonly as the lector year, where he's formed to become an instituted lector in the church. It gives him an office of responsibility. By virtue of that office, he has a right of way to certain liturgical responsibilities. His formation continues, the scrutiny continues. His own growth and development continues to be assessed as far as his abilities to carry out his duties and responsibilities, and just the evaluation of his knowledge of the formation he's received, and then put into practical play in how he serves his community, meaning the parish that he belongs to or the community that he's come forward from. At the end of the lector year, there's more evaluation and scrutiny in anticipation of this man being admitted into the third and final year of candidacy, is the acolyte year, where the man will also receive further formation to be instituted to the office of acolyte in Holy Mother Church, which also gives him an office of responsibility that has right of way to certain liturgical responsibilities. That comes with further scrutiny, that comes with further examination. Obviously, as he goes forward, he continues to deepen his relationship with God and his marriage and his family, or whatever state of life he may be in. If the man is not married and he's seeking admittance to holy orders, he cannot get married once he receives holy orders. He will be a celibate deacon. So we don't see very many of those. They're not as common as you would see married deacons in the United States of America. At the end of this year, he goes for review in consideration for admittance to holy orders, meaning there's scrutiny applied to this man and his formation, his character, his prayer life, even to some effects his work life, his relationships with his marriage and his children, or if he's not married, his relationships with his parish. And all of that is reviewed by a number of people, his formators, scrutiny committees, the bishop, other members of the diocese who are charged with the responsibility of participating in this scrutiny. If this man is found to be suitable, he's admitted by the bishop to holy orders. And at that point, it's planned for him to be ordained at a later date, at which point the bishop, the ordinary of the Diocese of Phoenix, would ordain him in the context of Mass. And at that point, he would receive the fullness of the grace of the sacrament and be conformed to the character of Christ the servant. And the church would acknowledge and accept him as being a cleric and giving him the charge of responsibilities he has to carry out as a deacon. And he would carry those forward for the entirety of his life, up until eternity.
Thank you. What is the role that rational legal authority plays in religion? What power governs or gives power to religion?
What gives authority to religion or power to religion? From the Catholic standpoint, the authority of the Catholic faith is drawn directly from God and His Church. This authority is rooted in God's natural law, in God's design, in God's revelation to His people. It is carried out through our sacred traditions. It is provided for us through the magisterium of Holy Mother Church. These are the foundational aspects of our faith that are authoritative in nature, and by which we base all of our understandings and teachings on as faithful Catholics. Legal authority in relationship to this matter is inconsequential. Although there's a relationship, legal authority does not dictate to Holy Mother Church what she can and cannot do, although we have to strive to carry out a healthy relationship with what we'll say are the secular legal authorities, in terms of where we come together, carry out responsibilities, or work together to provide for the means of the people, or where we come into contradiction with what the secular world might desire to teach and influence versus what the faith holds to be true and teaches.
Awesome. I appreciate that. What role does religion play in government with respect to rational legal authority?
This is a good question and a complex question. The Church's understanding of creation and morality should serve as a compass for secular legal authority in terms of guiding that secular legal authority to make rational decisions that are respectful to the dignity of life, to the institutions founded by God in man and woman being made in His image and likeness, and the common care of all of humanity, seeking the common good of all the people.
All right. And what role does traditional authority have in religion and gender roles of religion?
Traditional authority, as I said earlier, is founded in God's law and God's design. Right? We look at how this impacts our understanding as Catholics in the roles of man and woman. We know scripturally we're told that God made man and woman in His image and His likeness, and He also created them with their unique masculinity and femininity as a means by which they complement each other. for the purpose and sake of carrying out certain responsibilities, whether those be in the context of marriage or in the context of other vocations within the church, all oriented towards service to God and service to the people.
Has there been any female priests in the history of the Roman Catholic Church?
In accordance with the teachings of the Catholic Church, no, there have not been any female priests in the history of the Catholic Church.
What roles are males not allowed to be in the Roman Catholic Church?
Well, in the Holy Roman Catholic Church, I do not think it is possible for a man, a biological man, to participate in motherhood, to be a wife, or to carry out any of the duties and responsibilities that are naturally attributed to women who are created in the image and likeness of God, but in the unique sense of their femininity as cooperators in God's plan.
I do want to elaborate on that. Would that consist of being a nun?
A man could not become a nun.
Okay.
The order of, or the vocation of consecrated religious life as a woman is distinctly different than the nature of man in a religious order or consecrated life. Although they may carry out similar practices in where devotions and prayer, daily responsibilities of living communal life are rooted in their founders' teachings and the way they've created the institution to serve the people of God, to serve God, they are distinctly different because they are distinctly man and woman, masculine and feminine. They cannot participate in the matters in which the masculine would try to assume the identity of the feminine, or vice versa. This is not possible. This is not in accordance with God's natural law and God's design.
All right. With the modernization and acceptance of gay marriage, will this ever be possible for a gay to hold these positions, such as a female gay holding a priesthood or a male who is gay being a nun?
No, because this would go against the foundational understandings and teachings given to Holy Mother Church by God, as illustrated in His design and what He's revealed to us in sacred Scripture, and what we've come to understand by virtue of how faith has informed us to examine and learn and be informed by the study of biology and other sciences, as manifesting this deep and intentional design that God has put into practice in creating both man and woman in His image and likeness, but making them distinctly different with distinctly different purposes, as being cooperators in God's plan for His creation.
Awesome. And do you think, in your opinion, will this ever change to have male and females in both roles?
I do not. I believe that that would go against God's design and God's laws, and therefore, if Holy Mother Church is faithful to God, carrying out His teachings and the responsibilities entrusted to Holy Mother Church, this would be a radical departure from God. This would be a tragic failure on the part of the Church in her fidelity to God. So I do not think that will ever come to be.
And so that would go to be a traditional authority as opposed to a rational legal authority that's defined by the...
Well, we have to define traditional authority in the context of what faith is. If we understand that the Catholic faith is rooted in God because it's founded by God, and all of the laws and the teachings, the rationale carried by the Catholic Church are born from God, are inspired by God, are cared for by God, and depend on man's willingness to cooperate with God on these matters, that being his need to be faithful to God, to practice fidelity to these teachings and these understandings, then we understand that there is a rightly ordered authority based on the relationship that God as our creator and we as his creation live under, or live in harmony with God in the relationship that we carry out. So if we want to look at that from the context of maybe what contemporary understanding would be as traditional, it is traditionally held because it's what we believe is foundational. It is a clear and authoritative understanding of creation and how God willed all of humanity and the world and the stars and the universe into existence for a distinct and unique purpose.
All right. That is all great information. That actually will conclude my interview, and I appreciate. Is there anything that you would like to elaborate on any of the questions or topics that I had?
No, thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate your questions. They're very good questions. I would just encourage anybody who hears this interview, who has, maybe more curious questions or interest in learning more about the Catholic faith, to first take a step by studying the Catechism of the Catholic Church, which is one of the most informative documents that we have in our time, that elaborates on the unique teachings and the character of the Catholic faith as they are rooted in sacred scripture, in our sacred traditions, and all of those things carried out by Holy Mother Church in respect and fidelity to God.
Thank you.
Thank you.